Look at that.
570. Is that a 4570? That's a thumper. Oh, you know we call it the AR-15, the AR-10. This is the AR-57. It's not an AR-57. It's the AR-57. I wasn't like the hugest fan, but I was fine, you know, with it. But I've got some decent trigger time behind them now, and on full auto, they're a dream. So now, why is this called the Fenix?
I'm not sure. This almost looks like a Chris Vector. Yeah, sometimes change the name for copyright reasons, but
yeah, I got some time in on one actually 2 weekends ago at the IV88 range day, and that was a 10 milli, so that was a big boy. But 2-round burst on this thing. 2-round burst is nuts. That's the beauty is the 2-round burst. So it's a delayed blowback system, but it has the bolt and something called an inertia block drop down in the front, and so it helps mitigate recoil. And so those 2 rounds are like pop pop. Like I'll do the sound effect again. It's pop pop. You know, it's super quick. Yeah, they're fast, man. They're really fast when you just switch it to full auto. Like 2-round burst is great. I don't know. You know, there's only a few extreme circumstances where I'd want to use this in full auto, and one of them is like if vehicles, fast-moving vehicles. You know, you need to neutralize that vehicle right away.
I always love the, it just looks like a weapon from the future because of the angle design.
It's still a great weapon system, and they look cool, and like, you know, if I had enough money, I'd want one too. And do I have an old rifle out here? Yeah, I kind of do. And when they made the AR-15, it's perfectly in line. The barrel and the buttstock are perfectly in line, which allows you to have better control, but also on, you know, using select fire. The Chris Vector is a straight line as well. And that's like another really neat thing about it, because there's a lot of subguns that aren't straight line like that. So that's just another neat design element. So I got some range time on one of these again just a couple weeks ago as well. And
it's a drum mag, right?
Man, yep, it's so controllable. Drum mag. So a lot of drum mags, depending upon how they work. I had a Beta C mag for my AR for a while. I took it overseas.
Well, it was a Beta mag, so.
Wow. So some mags you take apart, you take the cover off. Well, you wind it first, then you take the cover off, and then you load the rounds in this spiral, and then you put the cover back on. Other ones you wind down as you push in. So I'm not sure which one this is, but yeah, super accurate. Those classic HK sights. There's a cylinder on the back that you switch your aperture for how far you're shooting with this thing. So this is great. It's just not great to get into a firefight on a rooftop with.
Right.
Running through rooms, if you're not worried about, you know, body armor, it's very effective. And yeah, it's very controllable, man. I've got like videos of like, there's these girls, check them out on Instagram, called the Survival Sisters, and they're like preteen teenagers, and they're hilarious because they argue just like sisters, but then they're shooting machine guns. So I've shot with them a few times, and they're learning patrolling tactics and all kinds of stuff. But there's videos out there of them shooting this thing, and they're handling it no problem. So did you get any time on one of these? I know the teens sometimes had them, but they were kind of getting phased out when we were in. They weren't as common.
No, not for me. I've been around them. When we went out to Haley Strategic in Arizona, we shot those episodes of Experts Try, and they had a couple of those that were busting them out. But no, not a lot of time on these ones. The AK. Looking compact, baby. Looking real tight.
I was like, what year was this? I'm trying to remember. Was it 74 or 79? And I'm like, oh, duh, it's 74. Yeah, so in 1974, they were working on this thing. So I love my country. Sometimes I do not appreciate my government. Sometimes they do kind of annoying stuff. And so they stated that everybody should carry a 7.62 NATO battle rifle. And instead of adopting like the SETME or the G3, which is a great platform, or the FAL, which some people say is even better, I don't know about that, but it's a great platform. They adopted the M14, which was a kind of modernized version of the M1 Garand, but they kind of screwed up when they said, let's make it full auto. The buttstock, comes down here, and when you're holding onto it like a traditional buttstock, it creates a fulcrum. But when we were in Vietnam, we were like, man, this thing's heavy, and maybe it's not the most effective for what we're doing, and so that's when the M16 got adapted. A lighter, high-velocity round, 7.62 NATO, all right? 5.56. This is what we switched to. Now this still goes out further, and where I like trucking around Afghanistan, I'd want to carry these. I was just thinking how one of these days I got to order like 20 pizzas to your house while we're filming. And so one way you can tell the difference between an AK-47, the main way, and an AK-74 is the magazine. So here's a AKM, but it's an AK-47 variant rifle. You see how curved that magazine is. but that's because we're running these big, fat, honking rounds, right? When these first came out, they had some problems with them. They didn't quite get the gas system right. If you shorten a barrel, you got to do something with the gas tube. Make it bigger, make it skinnier, make it longer. So there's a weight right here with the spring behind it. Well, if I make this barrel shorter, do I get a different spring? Do I get a different weight? So, you know, they got some modernization. You know, when we first started, you'd wrap your buttstock or your sling around the buttstock and stuff, and now, like, a lot of people are running QD mounts. I like QD mounts. The only safety issue I found with the AR, and I had this happen to me, I was running a training mission, well, I was just a squad leader in a training mission in Florida, and my saw gunner went down while we were running through the wood, and so I threw my M4 on my back. I, made sure I had the safety on. And as I'm running, I pick up the saw, my guys pick up the saw gunner, we're running, I'm reliving the glory days of being a saw gunner, and all of a sudden I hear, psh! All I can assume is my gear flipped my safety off, and then something pulled the trigger, and luckily we had Blake firing adapters, but I felt the heat right on my Achilles, because I was wearing jungle boots. Felt it right on the back of my ankle, and I was like, ugh. So that's the only thing I'm a little hesitant of with the M4. Otherwise, it's perfect. But I think I put that straight pullback trigger in here. Oh, yeah. So this is we call it the AR-15, the AR-10. This is the AR-57. It's not an AR-57. It's the AR-57. So what's kind of cool about this, what's great about the AR platform is you can use that lower receiver to do a ton of stuff. They make a crossbow that you bolt the lower receiver to, and the trigger actuates this crossbow. It's awesome. When I first saw this, I'm like, because it's got that mag well. If you look closely at this, it takes P90 magazines, FN P90.
Yeah, I was going to say at the top there, you can see,
Yeah, it shoots the FN57 round. Then I realized, I wonder if it ejects the rounds through the magwell. And guess what? It ejects the rounds through the magwell, so it doesn't throw the rounds. It just goes straight. Now, I'd rather have a 5.56 than a 5.7, but I like that people are innovating and doing cool things, and this was marketed as a competitor to the P90. So if you think about this, for training, if you're already used to running an M4 or an AR-15, and there's not a lot of weapon systems that are more ergonomic than an AR-15. They're pretty darn ergonomic. You don't have to learn anything new when you switch to this weird, Starship Troopers gun. Not Starship Troopers, god damn it. P90 with, MacGyver was in the series afterward, the Stargate. Yeah, I guess they were used all the time in the Stargate TV series. Yeah, the Stargate gun. So, anyways, that whole, super analytical analogy just fell apart there. I don't imagine this would have the same recoil as a 9mm, just because of the weird way it's set up. I could be mistaken. I don't know. Call me names in the comments section. It can penetrate soft body armor. But it's not going to do anything to level special threat or level 4 blades. I mean, the recoil in the game looks pretty smooth. It's interesting the way because he's using his firing hand, his dominant hand, to change the mag out.
Lever action? A lever action?
All right, well, let's see. Is this a third?
Look at that.
Like a 4570. Is that a 4570? That's a thumper. If that's a 4570, that's a thumper. So I want a 4570 lever action. That's what you take in Grizz country. That's what you take in polar bear country.
I love it. I love the look of this thing. You don't see lever actions around too much these days.
They're great ranch guns. They're very reliable. And also Australia still allows lever action guns. That's why they have a lever. They can't have pump guns.
Cameron has used these when he was on deployment to Syria with the Rangers.
Yeah, he's told me that he likes it a lot. I've changed my tune on them. I wasn't the hugest fan, but I was fine, with it. But I've got some decent trigger time behind them now, and on full auto they're a dream. And I think I've said those exact words a few times on this show, but they're really, really smooth on full auto. It's very robust, very reliable. If I remember correctly, they started coming up with this because Special Operations was having a hard time with the new M4s running them on full auto. I like the idea of competition. Hey, I don't want to move to that city because everybody does my art thing. There's way more people that do my art thing there. I was like, no, let's move to that city so you become better at your art thing. You have better competition, right? And in that way, the SCAR has made optics more durable and reliable. It was known for killing optics. You could throw an ACOG on it and it'll be fine. But there are now LPVOs. I'm throwing a 1 to 10 on this guy, but now they make them durable enough to run on that thing. They actually had the special design some IR lasers because just the muzzle blast and the recoil was just like messing them up so bad. But now, you know, there's tons of stuff out there that you can run on it. It's fairly modular. If I'm doing long engagements, 5.56 starts to lose lethality. You can still hit things with it, but if you just wound someone when you want to smoke them, it's not as effective, right? As you guys are setting up your little Minuteman, you know, groups, and you're going and training, like we have a group of guys that we're taking our classes, and they're a bunch of jiu-jitsu dudes and more jiu-jitsu dudes, and they'd wear the Hawaiian shirts, or that, you know, they got into it. Well, start to divvy out. Like, get an AR-10, or if you can afford it, get a SCAR. You're now the designated marksman guy.
Oh!
Oh,
50 cal?
that looks like a Lynx. Is this the Lynx?
50 cal bolt action, maybe?
No. I don't think that's a bolt action. I think he was just loading it. This is a bullpup anti-material rifle.
Ah. Oh, that was just the charging handle. Okay.
Yeah, look at that big muzzle brake on the front. I mean, that could be a 50. It could be a couple different calibers. Oh, that's what they always said at basic training. You got canteens, you got your LC-80, you got your equipment on you. It's an anti-equipment rifle.
Looks like there's no magwell for it, too. When he goes to reload, he just takes the magazine. There's just a pit where it goes back in when he gets it back in there.
Like a slide, like it slides into something. Yeah, that's cool. It kind of looks like a Lynx.
Whoa! And your head, it's gone. Just took out somebody's noggin.
Yeah, man, these are pretty devastating. They're good for shooting through cinder blocks. But then also, like, say you're a citizen soldier, you know, you're a Minuteman. That's something to consider. Like, you have a home intruder. Do you want to shoot them with a 50? I mean, no matter how angry you are, do you want to shoot your neighbors and then their neighbors and the neighbors in the next county with the 50 that goes through your drywall? Yeah, I wish I was more familiar with this model. If that is the Lynx, it looks like the Lynx to me. It's a Hungarian anti-material rifle, and they call it the M1, M2, M3, and 4, and 5, and 6. Britain and a couple other countries use them, and when they use them, they do different nomenclature. But yeah, I think that is the Lynx. I could be mistaken, but anyways.
So a lot of variety today. What was your favorite weapon that you saw from Modern Warfare 2, Paul?
Was there anything kind of? I mean, I don't like the. You know, just the
most out of the ordinary weapon was for me was that Hurricane with it looks like an AR, but it has the P90 magazine.
Yeah, it'd be cool and fun to shoot that. Like, if I had to go into battle... Oh, you know what? The SCAR. The SCAR was my favorite. I used to not be the biggest fan. I've gotten a lot more trigger time on them lately. They come out with newer models. Yeah, that's what I was like, I know there's something I liked. Yeah, I'd take an M4 or a SCAR for sure.
Well, that's it, folks. Those are the weapons from Modern Warfare 2. Folks, we hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you thought about the weapons from Modern Warfare 2. Paul, where can people get a hold of you?
Hey folks, find me on Instagram at Mav11B, and if you'd like to learn how to do some of this stuff in real life, hit me up on Thunderpunk Radio, on Rumble, YouTube, BitChute. We're going to be putting out videos explaining how to do all of this stuff.
And if you want to hang out with me a little bit, come on over to twitch.tv/myhappyself, as well as the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast, or you can head on over to Shift Fire. Folks, take it easy. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Total Recoil, where we explore weapons and equipment from some of your favorite games. I'm Israel Wright, former Green Beret, one of your hosts. I'm the only host. It's almost perfect.